get here today, getting ready for November. And then we're going to have some amazing training coming up in November. Excuse me, can't talk. Can I have my Pledge of Allegiance person, please? Diane is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please all stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If you guys, I would like to take a few seconds, whatever you believe in this life. And I know that yesterday was 9/11, and we've also had a lot of the hurricanes, the fires in the West. And I just thought maybe we would take a few minutes of silence just to reflect on that and offer healing for everybody who is going through the trying times. Thank you. I appreciate that. I know that we have a lot of family members and people, especially with 9/11. It's been 16 years. It's kind of one of those things where I'm glad that they kind of do celebrations every year. I know that a couple people in my office, everybody said that I woke up this morning and I thought, why are there flags on my lawn? And I thought, wow, that we gotten so far in life, but I do know that we had the hurricanes going and fires, so I'm sure that's been kind of taking over all of the media right now. So maybe it got back in people's minds. But I hope we never forget that, because I believe it's a time where we brought our country together, and I think that's one of the things that we need right now everywhere is to make sure that we give that extra special thank you to somebody, or do something out of the ordinary to help each other out, whether it be something small or something large. Everything is appreciated. Okay, is there any visitors or new members today? Yes, what's your name?
Jonica Smith.
Oh yes, Jonica from the University of Healthcare. Welcome, hospital.
These two have been here before.
Great, yes. That's wonderful. Well, welcome. Okay, Geraldine. She is our membership chair, and she is going to speak to you about membership.
Hello, just a reminder, you're here today, and when you come in the future, make sure to mark the roll that you have attended. It really helps us to plan on future meetings, on how much the treasurer's bring. It helps us to reach out to those people that aren't coming and see what we can do to enhance the meetings. So make sure to mark the roll when you come in. Also, I do have a few of the achievement awards from 2016. If you guys are working for your recertifications or your initial certification, it's just a little summary of all of the trainings that happened in 2016, and it's signed by our education chair on the board, and it just helps you, have that record for when you submit your application. We'll be, of course, creating another one in January for the 2017 training. Also, I just wanted to let you know I've been happy to serve on the membership committee and doing the roster for 3 years, and I'd like to pass that on now to someone. And I'm looking for someone that likes a little bit of record keeping. It's a fun job. You get to know the membership a lot better, which was great for me because I kept seeing the same faces every meeting, but I put the name to the face, and I try to watch now, who's picking up the name tags and what their names are. And it's been wonderful just to reach out a little bit more and network with people and know who they are, what entity they belong to. So I'd love to transition someone in. If you're interested, come and talk to me. But if you're maybe thinking about running for a board position, hey, go for it. This is not a board position, it's a little bit less responsibility, right? It's not like a 2 years. And so this would be a way to just start volunteering, and you can use your time volunteering for the local chapter to earn points towards your certification. So yeah, just want to encourage you to do that. And I do also have new applications back on the back table. We're always looking for people in your organizations that aren't involved, that would like to be. Feel free to take one of those and give them to your coworkers that haven't joined in. Thank you.
Thank you, Geraldine. Skip, can we have you come up? Skip is going to speak to you about historian, because we have a couple chairs that we're going to need for the new year. And also with membership, you could be also reaching out to, we really need to increase, membership. We want to reach out to the students that are at the colleges so that we can get the next level. As we were talking at NIGP, we're afraid in the next 5 years there's going to be a mass exodus, 5 to 7 years. And if we don't start recruiting now, this is all going to be empty. All your jobs are going to be overwhelmed and understaffed, and we really need to start recruiting them, millennials and young people. So here's Skip.
Okay, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Skip Foster. You probably know me as the guy behind the camera. So as historian chair, what my responsibilities have been basically keeping the history of everything that the chapter does, from chapter meetings, chapter minutes, board meetings, board minutes, pictures of our meetings, our activities. We've also, last year, started broadcasting our meetings on YouTube Live. So if you turn around, you can wave to everybody, whoever's watching.
Everybody turn around and wave. There you go.
In hopes to attract some virtual members as well. You'll see the NIGP Utah Facebook page. That's part of my committee. We update the Facebook page, put pictures and updates on that for those that have been getting those updates. If you would like to join that page, you can send a friend request on there, and we will get you added to that. As well, as part of this position, I've been taking care of the meeting surveys, so those surveys that you get emailed to you or handed out. So those come from this position. It's a lot of fun, a lot of keeping our chapter with some exposure. If you actually go into YouTube Live and type in NIGP, we're the only thing that comes up. Utah chapter is the only thing that comes up right now. So it's neat to see our chapter expanding and trying new things and trying to keep everyone informed about what's going on. So if you're interested, if you like keeping records, if you like taking pictures, let me know. Let us know, and we can get you involved.
Thank you, Skip. Sorry. We have many other chairs that we're going to need people to help with. Next year, we're going to have the education committee. We usually have a board member on it, but I'd like to make sure that we have someone who can support that, because I know a lot of times it's kind of just fall onto the board member, and with other things to do, sometimes it's a little challenging. And we really want to make sure that our trainings are advantageous for you guys and that you get what you need out of it. So if you're interested in helping us find speakers and trainers, if you would like to train and you have some information that you'd love to share, we would love to have you share with us, because we can only gain from your experience and your things that you've done through all of your career. Also, community engagement, we still want to get a chairperson for that. That would be something that we would do just on our, pretty much twice a year is what I was thinking is either at our March meeting and then our November meeting, kind of going to Christmas. March kind of being, going into a time of year where I know the homeless shelters, food banks, they really need to stock up because everyone is so generous during the holiday that after that it kind of falls off and they really need support. Last year in June, we did go to the food bank, and if you look on your agenda today, we are going to do it again. This is on Saturday, October 28th from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. I do realize that it's Halloween weekend, so I know there's going to be a lot of Halloween stuff, but it is early and it's only 2 hours. And I think we really only stayed last time because we were so fast. I think it was like an hour and a half. They let us go a little early because we were too awesome and got it all done. So it was a lot of fun. They had music playing, they had their staff in there. We just had a lot of fun. We were just packing their boxes. These are boxes that they give out that has a whole list of things that they put in it that they give out to each family. So it was pretty cool. I think we packed 450 boxes, so we fed 450 families that day. So that was kind of cool to know that we did that. And we need 30 people to do that. So if you're interested, go ahead and email me, and I will make sure that I keep in contact with you and remind you, before that morning. But again, it is a lot of fun, and there's lots of parking there, so it's not like a parking issue or anything. And the address is right on the front of this sheet here. I wanted to recognize Mark Blanche from Washington County is retiring on November 15th. He's not here today, but I thought maybe we would do a certificate from NIGP congratulating him on his retirement, and then also if you guys get a chance to look up his email and maybe send him a little, congratulations. It's pretty awesome to be able to retire in this day and age, so I'm sure you're all looking forward to that someday. The other thing I wanted to recognize is Davis School District and Granite School District. Davis School District and Granite have both won the National Procurement Institute, or NPI, Achievement of Excellence in Procurement. Davis has won it for 2 years in a row, and Granite has got it for 3 years in a row. So, hey, I also want to have Jason, Gail, Randy, stand up, please. Mary's not here. I just want to do a special recognition for these guys for everything they did for Forum.
Sharon.
Oh, there she is, Sharon, sorry. And these guys were on the main Forum committee. Lori also was there, so I want to recognize Lori too. She put the social together, so if we can just give them a quick round of applause. And appreciation for all of you guys. Many of you guys spent time helping us with volunteering. Some of you weren't even on the volunteer and you stopped and helped out. We want to appreciate you and say thank you. And we've got a beautiful cake back there. Thank you, Mackenzie, for her talented bee making. So we've got that. We're going to serve that on the break for you. So we'll make sure that everyone gets a piece. There's one half is chocolate, one half is vanilla. So that way I kind of got everybody, just in case you don't like chocolate. Otherwise, we have chips over there for you and some fruit left over for you. You guys are welcome to have those. The next item is our bylaws. We are going to have some bylaw changes, and if you guys see in the middle of your table, if you don't have it in front of you, there are two papers. One is proposed bylaw changes, and the other one is just a little survey that we need to, they were asking me to fill out for us to help with our food and beverage. And a little question bottom. I'll go through each page. On the bylaws, we always have to give this out to the membership. I will also be having Tanya send this out through the newsletter, through the mass email, so that everybody gets it for those who aren't here. I know that we just redid the term limits we were thinking that that was a good idea for being able to have continuous learning, and it usually takes a year to kind of get things going. But in some of our discussions, we were concerned with length of time, because when you get into VP, we have a succession that is supposed to, if you're a VP, we send you to a training, to a procurement leadership training, and after that, we expect that you'll move up into the president role, and run for the president. And when you do that succession, if you do 2 years, plus being the past president after you are not president, there would be 6 years of a commitment. And we worried that would scare you all off. And we don't want to do that. We want everyone to have a chance to lead. We're going to make sure that our transitions are easier so that people feel prepared when they come in. We'll make sure that the old, presidents, vice presidents, secretaries, treasurers, that they will also work hand in hand for the first few months so that we will have a better succession plan in place and transition plan for you. So that is the reason that we wanted to train this back to 1 year instead of the 2. Then the other item that we thought would.
So on the secretary, what's your thinking of putting that back to 1 year?
Because there's really no transition for them. It's basically taking minutes of every meeting. So there's really not a lot, would you say, Lieber, that there is a lot to learn? So doing a 2 year isn't advantageous for that, but it might be somebody who wants a very light commitment because of their other commitments in life. But it's a great way to volunteer, great, again, extra hours on top of your meetings. Anything that you volunteer for, you get extra hours on top of the meetings to go towards your certifications and any renewals of any certifications that you have. So that's a wonderful way. So that way we figured that would be best to keep that at a year also. Now treasurer, we felt that that is kind of an important role with our finances. So we wanted to change that to a 2 year minimum. And you're welcome, obviously, to run as long as you want, as long as you feel that you can do that role. But we just figured that the first year is kind of getting things organized. We also have a lot of transition right now because we did get a new program for our accounting. And because it's been so crazy this year with Forum, we haven't been able to initiate that program just yet. And so we want to get that initiated. So we figured that would be a better situation to get everything organized, because financials, obviously, you've seen a lot of things in the news lately of non-transparency and people getting in a lot of trouble. We don't want that. We want everything to be transparent for everyone and open. So we figured someone with 2 years in would make sure that we have our checks and balances there. The next item we have is member dues. We would like to increase those. Every year we have to pay national dues on everybody, whether you're a national member or not. That can range anywhere from $800 to $1,000 depending on how many members we have. Plus, we also are looking at the future of training. Over the years, we have always had $50 from the beginning, but our training and expectations have gone up. If we want to do any trades with other chapters, we have to just pay for their travel and their night stay. There's other trainers out there that we can use that are close to our budgets, and we feel that if we had an increase, it would cover the national dues, and we'd also be able to secure our trainers. Also, we want to propose a virtual membership. We have a lot of Southern Utah people, and we have a lot of cash.
Can you explain why we're paying national dues? Because like our organization pays our national dues. I'm just kind of wondering,
We have to pay national dues for any member who's not a national member. It's just part of the NIGP being, because we're under their umbrella. And so that's how they make their money. It's not the full membership. It's just a dollar amount that they add per member that they have us pay just to have all of the amenities on the site that you can get into without having to have a login being a member. So there's a lot of opportunities there. So it's just kind of to supplement that. That usually can range anywhere from, Gail, what did we pay per person?
Pay for what?
The national dues. last year?
I don't remember my mind real quick. I think it's about 600. It was 554 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think it's been about 600 to 800, but just like I said, it depends on your membership, and if we increase membership, that's gonna go up also. And it could go up each year too, because a lot of times they will change those memberships too.
So should we not be paying our nationals?
No, we should.
No, if you're paying national, we don't pay for you.
Yeah, we only pay that little extra for the people that are not national.
Right. So like several school districts, like when I was at Canyons, Gary paid for himself and one other person. And many other entities, they only pay for two. Usually it's the director and one other person, just so you can, keep all of your information, because you can share, all the information once you get it off the web. So it's advantageous to have one person, but for all the other people that aren't national members, now this year, everybody pretty much became a national member because of the forum, but we do realize that that's not an option every year because of, opportunities that are out there. So that's one of the reasons that we have to pay on people who are not national members.
Are we voting on these today?
No, we're not voting on these today. These are just presented out to you to think about, talk about, give us feedback.
One thing to clarify, we could have just raised it for the non-national members, but then we'd have people paying two different local chapter fees. So we just did it chapter-wide to cover that extra for the non-nationals. And any extra, of course, will go to training. So we only have about 30%, anyway, last year, about 30% of our local chapter are national. So the other 2/3, we had to pay an extra fee for. So that's one of the big reasons we're doing the $10 increase. And so we just didn't want two different rates, one for national members and one for non-national members. We just felt like it was more cohesive to do.
As she said, we had about 30% of our chapter that are not national members, and even though we're underneath the national umbrella, there's
We only have
still,
30% that are national.
yeah, excuse me, 30% that are, sorry. I meant are members.
Yeah.
And so we have about 70% that are not, yeah.
I'd like to suggest that we table that, come up with a little better explanation that would be acceptable to everybody.
No problem. And like I said, this is just to bring it out to you for discussion, information, so that we can, get your feedback, what you feel. I mean, this doesn't mean we have to go forward with this. We just wanted to propose that for our opportunities. We want to make sure that we have the best trainings and meetings going forward, for you. That's been our goal in the past too, but sometimes we get a little stuck because someone comes in, wants to do a fabulous training for us, but then wants to charge us $1,200. And when you do that for 5 meetings, that gets a little challenging when you're a small chapter like us. But we want to take care of everybody. We also want to try to get people in that will do it like our members. I have a couple chapter members from Arizona that said that they would come up if we just paid them, mileage. So those are opportunities too that can be a lot less and great, advantageous to us. The virtual membership we were talking about is we would like to offer down in southern Utah and Cache County, anybody else in Utah that can't physically make it here, we would like to offer them virtual membership so that they can be part of our meetings and have access to all of our information, have access to the site, to everything that we do here. So that is something that we were looking at. So if you have any opinions or ideas on that, we'd love to see that too. One other thing that I didn't write in this that I will write on the next one that we'll send out in the email blast, we'll have our succession. We don't specifically have a succession plan written. It's always been known that VP goes into president, but we will also have to put that in the bylaws. We also have a succession plan for the board of directors. When you're a 3-year board of director, you go down to the 2-year and then the 1 year. So every year when we have elections, there's always a 3-year board member that is elected. And then you just kind of move down the row. And that's always just been known, but we wanted to make sure that it was out there for you guys so that when you plan on volunteering that you know what your commitment is and where we would like you to lead. It doesn't mean that it's stuck in that succession, because we have had challenges in the past where someone moves to a different job, or things are different in their environment at work and they can't give that commitment, so then we have to have a new, interim election to replace that, and that's okay. So I want you to know that even with succession plans, we have opportunities to make sure that everyone can do what they like to be part of. Is there any more questions with this right now? If you have any feedback, please send it to us. You can send it to any of the board members. All of us will be getting back together to make sure that we have everything that we need, and then we will make sure that upon all of your information, we will then send it out to all of the members for voting in November, and it will be voted on with the elections. Okay, the next paper that I gave you guys is really important for us to try to make sure that we don't have any waste in any food or beverages. So I put this together last night to have you guys fill out, just give us the information on what you normally drink, what you'd like to drink. If it's not listed here, please list it under the other. We have food. I've also asked for lunch recommendations because we do lunch twice a year, which is in November and March for procurement month, and November is our thank you year-end lunch. So we would like to have recommendations so that we can get those out there. Also, May is a challenging month to have chapter meetings. We did do a webinar this year, and we just want your comments and feedback on that. If May, if you'd like to have the meeting still, maybe we could do a shorter meeting, just get your feedback on those type of ideas, or continue with webinars. We also are looking at a reverse trade show. We could do that in April, and that could replace our May. So those are some of the things that we just want you guys to help us with feedback. This is your chapter, not just ours, so we need your feedback and help. Glenda, did you have a comment that you wanted to add earlier? I apologize, I saw you, and then Gail.
I'm not sure, it's back in the member news if we're going to move on, but I'm not sure that language reflects what Carolyn mentioned, because I thought the proposal was everybody would charge $60. Administrator, I don't want, some of our people are national members.
Yeah, no, it would be everybody.
I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, it would be everybody. It's not just for, that's what we were saying, is we did it across the board for everybody.
Yeah, that's
So that way, it just, we proposed that just to, and the other things that I wrote underneath was just the reasons why. It's not the official language that's going to go into the bylaws. This was just proposing these ideas so we can get your feedback. And it would be an increase across the board, because we don't want the, who's national, who's not type, trying to figure it out. Plus then it would all go toward training, and we would make sure that that was very transparent, and that you guys would see where that went to. So it would be a value of you for you. Okay, let's move on. Okay. Oh, there is one other team that I would like to set up, and this would be a chapter setup and takedown team. Basically, they'd be responsible for doing the morning food, setting up, making sure that IT and computers are ready. This team would also maybe put together, I would like to have some slideshows. We talked about doing some slideshows, kind of profiling each entity, so that way we can get to know all of you better and know what you guys do. A lot of times we know you and we know what you do, but we don't know what your team experiences, things like that. Some of the great things you do and some of the things that we don't get told, we like to present up here. So I know that there's lots of presentations ahead of time, just as you're coming in, that you guys can see and have some information about. So if anybody is interested for that, I need a chairperson, and then we'll make sure that we want to separate it out, because I know it's very hard for one person just to do everything, and we've been doing that for years, and it makes it very challenging and burns out that person. And this way, if we can spread it out, we can have one person getting beverages, one person, getting the breakfast items and helping us set up the room, taking care of our banners, anything that we need, welcome signs, just to make you guys feel more welcome when you come in. that's all I needed. So please look at volunteering, and again, you get extra hours on top of that. Okay, Randy Ruff is going to be coming up to talk a little bit about forum. She was our chairperson. You did a great job. Randy has also presented this for our chapter at the forum on stage. So we have this, and we're going to try to see if we can find our easels and be able to have this up at every meeting for us, because I think that we all deserve a great pat on the back, because I think it went wonderful.
I just want to thank everyone that I can't believe that we started planning this over 2 years ago, and it just is amazing to me that it's actually over. You plan, and then all of a sudden it's over, just like Christmas. But anyway, I just want to thank everyone. Can't do it without all the support of the chapter. There were so many fun things about the event, with bus tours, with just the solid table was an interesting kind of a situation. We ended up losing some of the things that we had there. The salt house wasn't necessarily secure, so that was kind of a bummer. But the good thing about the solid table and all the volunteers there is I loved walking by and seeing people who volunteered that were from different agencies, and they had never had an opportunity. They come to these meetings every couple of months, but they don't sit with each other, or they don't really necessarily get to meet each other like they did at the solid table. And I saw that a lot. It was so fun to, I watched, I can't even remember who it was, sit down, and they're kind of forced to start talking because they're sitting at the table, and they just got to know each other a little bit more. Now that's another connection that they can have, and it just was a good way to break the ice. But more than anything, I just want to thank everyone. I believe the National Forum Committee was very happy with the way it turned out. I will be getting results from the survey. Did you guys all take the survey, hopefully? Okay, good. Yeah, because it matters, and so I can present some of that when I get the results from the National Committee. Any questions on the form that you guys have? Or, okay, well, good. Thank you. It's you guys, then that's what that plaque is for you guys. Yes, sir.
So is there how do they determine where it's going to be hosted? So certain cities, you know, it seems like it's always the East Coast. I know they say it's a tough time. Was some of my question, but also a comment. So they don't like going to West Coast because they don't think there's a lot of members that will come. But this forum, there was more than typical.
Yes.
So that's a big kudos for Salt Lake City that hopefully we can have some good ones like in Seattle or Portland or I would imagine Phoenix or some others. So I mean, yeah, people really wanted to come to the mountains, and that's the biggest thing that I found.
And I think people really enjoyed coming. They wanted to come here. This is a good excuse for them to come. Karen, go ahead.
Oh, I just remember a few, so we actually applied. We applied as a chapter to have it here, and that was when Adrian, he really was the push of the year we applied. And that's probably maybe 4 or 5 years ago that we applied to have it here, yeah. And, but other cities applied too at the same time to host it, and we actually got picked.
So it's like by region, they go like East Coast, they try middle of America, they, our region, and then the West Coast. And so right now, there's plans for the next 4 years. There's an RFP out there. We put an RFP out about 6 months ago that would go back to like Washington, the state of Washington, Oregon, California, that area. And they didn't get the responses that they wanted. And so they're going to push it back out again. And it was interesting to sit on that committee, or I still sit on it until after the next forum. But they won't go to Las Vegas, Nevada. They won't go. They can't go to Los Angeles or Anaheim because it's too expensive. So they have to pick somewhere that they can afford to go and have the forum, but a nice place where people will want to go. But by far, for some reason, this time with being, not on the West Coast necessarily, but in the West, the attendance was up. People wanted to come. I think, the attendance is probably higher prior to, when the economy went down on the East Coast. But whenever they would come west, the attendees didn't want to come that way, but for some reason this year, they decided they wanted to come to Salt Lake City, which is really cool. The other thing is the exhibitors, that this is the biggest exhibit that they've ever had. It doesn't matter if it's on the East Coast, West Coast, whatever. So I didn't really get a chance to go in and watch that, but I did. They were really surprised and really excited for the fact that that's how they make their money. But excuse me, anybody who was able to participate in the community giving event, that was a lot of fun. That went really well, and it was kind of like between the bus tours and the social event, which was awesome. Excuse me, that turned out really good, Sharon. That was a lot of fun. So, George?
Yeah, I just wondered if we had any figure on how many people attended.
I think it's pretty close. I mean, it's about 1,100, a little bit less than 1,100, which is really good because it was 900 and something last year. So.
It was 1,004 as of, I talked to the CEO Sunday morning. That's participants, that would be vendors and everything else.
Anybody else? Thank you. Thank you so much. Like I said, the bus tours were interesting, and Gail and Jason will talk about that. But Gail and Skip and I were able to go on the Park City tour, and that was a lot of fun. So we had a good time. And I know there are other people who are tour guides for the other bus tours. But thank you so much.
Hey, Randy, for you. I'd be curious, I think I know, but how many people here went just out of curiosity? For those who weren't able to go, not knowing your budget side of the organization, for us, that was a really, really big deal because we sent a lot of people. Next year's in Nashville. It's just a good time to consider starting those conversations. Again, not knowing your budget cycles, but I started in our organization a year ahead and started planting seeds. They found the money. So it's just a suggestion. Most of us can't come up out of, at least in my world, I can't come up with that kind of funding out of my budget just like that. So.
And that's one of the reasons why we decided to have a lot of the people who went to forum speak today. Tanya is going to do our main presentation. She's going to give us some information that she learned from it to help us out. But that's what we wanted to let you know is a lot of people don't understand what forum is. Some of them think, oh, it's just fun, which it is fun. But it is so valuable in the connections that you make and the people that you meet. For instance, I was in a contracts management seminar workshop, and this one person from California was looking for, they want to put an ice rink out, a year-round ice rink, California, so they were looking to see if there's anything out there. Well, because I'm from the East Coast, I actually want to have an ice rink in my backyard because I miss, being able to just step out in my backyard and go on the lake and ice skate. So I was looking up ice rinks, and I found this thing called Ice, which is a synthetic ice that you can have all year round. It's not one that you have to keep cold. It's basically almost like a whiteboard type thing, but it makes it to where you can skate on it. And she was talking about that, saying, I'm having a hard time, I can't find anything, and I was right behind her, and I'm like, oh, here you go. So I was able to give her information. She was like, thank you, I've been looking for something for a year. So those are the type of things that, if you have challenges in the past that you've had, if you interact, and obviously at a forum, what you put into it is what you'll get out of it. So if you have things that you have challenges with or things that you want to do better, that is the best way to get together and network. And that's what this is supposed to be about. And I know that I heard feedback from a lot of people that since they went to forum and was able to really get to know a lot of you, that it makes it more comfortable to be able to do more networking here. And that's one thing that we want to try to do more of. And that was why I wanted to get this set up and take down crew, because I wanted them to help us with our networking, to make sure that we're talking and chatting and get to know each other, so that we not only just know the names, or the faces, that we can put them together and we can help each other out, because we're all in the same boat. We all go through the same challenges, and you're with your peers. It's not somebody that you have to, if you share your challenges to, that anybody will judge you, because we've all been there. So that's what we want this to be about, is help and support for you. Next we have Gail coming up. She just wanted to let you know how much we made from the bus tour and how it went, because it was pretty awesome for our chapter. which is gonna do a lot of great things for us next year.
First of all, I want to thank everyone who volunteered. We did not have any idea what to expect. And so thank you for your patience with the ever-changing schedules. I apologize for that. We kept getting told that things were being recommended. It's interesting, we went to kind of a wrap-up meeting at the end with people from Nashville. And one thing that I stress with them is tell everybody that the schedule will change often. It'll change at the last minute. So thank you for all of you who did that, especially the hotels. That was kind of a crazy thing. But it was a lot of fun to watch all of you interact with people. I loved it, and you were all superstars. I loved being at the Salt Lake City table and watching all of you interact with each other. That was probably the biggest thing for me, is how we interacted together. So hopefully, here we kind of sit in our own little groups, but hopefully when we have breaks, you'll reach out and talk to some of the people that you met during the forum, or introduce yourself to someone who didn't go, and just help the chapter become more vital and more vibrant. I think it's very important. I think that things are going to go up from here. And it's all up to us. We're great people. I was getting emails for quite a while, maybe we can have after forum. I don't think I've had anything this week, but people emailing and thanking us for hosting such a great forum. People really genuinely loved it. And I'm sure all of you got comments as well. People just saying they're having so much fun. We love the bus tours, but you're also nice. And it doesn't shock me, we're all nice people, but people really enjoyed it. So thank you all so much for your time. And especially those who put in extra time. With there's no compensation for these things. The extra time going on a bus tour or helping load buses, it was very challenging. We had a couple of incidents on Sunday night, but we worked them out, and Tuesday was really good. We didn't lose anybody in Park City. I was a little afraid we were going to leave somebody there. It turned out well. It was a lot of work, and Jason and Randy were just awesome to help out with this. The total profit for our chapter was $8,825.40. So. That nearly doubled what we have in the checking account. There are some chapters that are very wealthy. There's one in Maryland that has over $100,000 in the bank. So just to compare, they've got a lot of money. So we've got a lot of work to do, and it's challenging, but if we all work together, Polly's trying to get this reverse trade show going. We need to all pitch in and help make the money. It's a continuous thing. We want to have the education and the opportunities. We all need to work together and make some money. But thank you all for all of your help, and I hope that we build on this from here and make this a great chapter. Thanks.
Okay, one last business, and then we'll get into Tanya's presentation. Lima, will you please come up? He's going to talk about elections.
Okay, so as they've been mentioning, we have elections coming up this year, and we have a lot of open positions, which is really exciting because it allows new people to come in and bring new ideas and kind of be able to get involved. So the positions we have open for this year are president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and a 3-year board member. And so obviously each of these positions, as Polly has kind of mentioned, they'll vary in the time commitment, they'll vary in kind of what you'll be doing, but they're all great opportunities to kind of get on board, to be able to help, to be able to network with the chapter members and be able to really kind of gain new skills in that. And so if you have any questions on any of those positions, kind of what the commitment is, the involvement is, please reach out to us. We're happy to answer questions and kind of let you know what it is we do. And so kind of the schedule that we're looking for the election, so the official kind of election that we'll be having will be in our November meeting, which is November 14th. And so in order to get ready for that, if you are interested in running for one of those positions, if you could email me, and my email is in the newsletter from this last week, email me with your name, I didn't put this, but we'd like to know the organization you're coming from, and then just a short bio so we can put that out for the members to know. And if you can have that to me by October 17th, so in about a month from now. So you have plenty of time to think about it, get excited, reach out to us, and then we'll have mail-in or email option for those people that won't be able to attend the November meeting. And then in the November meeting, we'll officially be able to have everyone vote and have the results of that. So if anyone has any questions, please reach out to me, please reach out to any of the board members. It's a really fun thing to do, and really helps you be able to kind of meet new people and network with new people. So, thanks guys.
Did it just, okay, sorry. Kurt, if you'll come on up and introduce comments.
Great. Just to piggyback off the elections last year, I had been part of the leadership years ago. Like this? So this doesn't work? This only works. And so I've been part of the leadership before. I kind of bucked the system a few years back, being a vice president. I wasn't ready to be a president, and so I gracefully bowed out. But I had the opportunity last year to be a 3-year board member, and they don't tell you this before, I guess, but you become the education chair at the same time. But it's been a good opportunity. So it's a great time to network. It's a great time to reach out, and there's a lot of knowledge in this body, and that's, I think, the whole purpose of having an NIGP chapter is to actually network and get ideas, get solutions, and then share as well. So you're not just getting, you're giving, and so that's what the networking is all about. And I think those that went to form can kind of see that as well, because then it's multiplied by the whole country, and a lot of similarities. But then there's also a lot of contrasts, and so anyways, that's kind of my plug for the networking, the elections, and getting involved. I got involved early on, and had to take a step back in changing positions, but now that I'm back in. Without further ado, we did have, as a board, we talked about a scholarship for the NIGP Forum to pay for a member to do that, because and it was from an organization that wasn't going to be able to pay for them to come out, and we sent out applications, and we were very impressed with the qualifications. If anybody gets a newsletter, that's Tanya. If anybody gets an email to the body of the NIGP, that's Tanya. And she's done that for years, and she's done that not as an elected position, not as something that is her job responsibility. She's just taken it on, and she's done it for years. And we've been very impressed as a board when we saw these applications for a scholarship that Tanya, the buyer at Salt Lake School District, was well deserving of that. Now, it was kind of rotten how we also said, well, because you get the scholarship, you also have to speak afterwards. So it was one of those things that you're required to report on it. But she's going to give us a little presentation about what she learned at Forum, the experience at Forum, and then also a little bit about what she learned. She's going to share a few nuggets with us today. So please give her a warm welcome.
Okay. So there's a condition on everything you sign up for, so just so you know. This was my condition to be here today. I am grateful to be here today. I am so grateful to the chapter for offering the scholarship and for the opportunity I had to be able to go to Forum and enjoy all of the information and the networking and getting to know you guys better as a chapter. It really was a fantastic opportunity. And by the show of hands earlier, it looks like most of us in this room got a chance to go.
Did that.
So,
especially the hotels, that was kind of a crazy thing.
throw in your
But it was a lot of fun to watch all of you interact with people. I loved it, and you were all superstars. I loved being so at the sitting table and watching all of you interact with each other. That was probably the biggest thing for me, is how we interacted together. So hopefully, you're kind of sitting in our own little groups, but hopefully, it really was a fantastic opportunity.
To engage in professional
And
development
by the show of hands earlier, it looks like most of us in this room got a chance to go. So, especially the hotels, that's kind of a crazy thing.
Throw in your.
But it was a lot of fun to watch all of it.
It really was a fantastic opportunity. We learned so much. We had breakout classes where we could go either enhance our current skills or learn new skills or get information from those. What a great opportunity to meet people from across the nation and Canada. Did anyone meet anyone else outside of Canada or the US? Jason? Australia, anyone else? Oh, same person? Incredible that we get to meet with procurement professionals from around the world. What an opportunity to learn how they do things and be able to take those nuggets back to our organizations. So a huge thank you. We've been saying it all morning today, but we had the best volunteers, and it was because of you that made it such a great success. We're so grateful for the time that you took away from your classes, away from your offices to be at Forum and to help the chapter out and to make it work in such a wonderful way. So welcome to Salt Lake City. We had so many people that came that had never been here before and had so many questions. Who had opportunities to work at the Salt Lake table? Okay, most of you, wonderful. I loved it. I thought it was just so much fun to get to meet people and help them get their bus passes. That's what the first, at least most of my experience was dealing with all the people needing to get their bus passes. But we had all sorts of information for shopping and dining and tracks, and I know that a lot of people in here were involved in getting that information put together. We've got our trivia here as well. Just a lot of fun things at the table for people to come and get from us and get to know them. I do want to throw out a question. What was the strangest question you were asked at Forum? Anybody?
Mine is what way for you?
What why for you? Which number? Oh, wow, yeah, number 5. Oh, there you go. Anybody else?
Jason and I on the bus tours got asked about the trees and like what type of trees there were, and we're just like, we have no idea.
Wow. Interesting. Anybody else had some interesting questions?
Where's the cutest antique shop?
The cutest antique shop. Where can I find it? There was a lady that came. She had this nice, beautiful, big camera around her neck. And she's like, Jason was there. Where can I find the best architecture in town? Where is there anything close that I could go get pictures of? She was really into architecture.
My response was, we don't have it.
Yeah, Jason's response was, we're not well known for our architecture. You know, there are unique buildings over on Temple Square. I think we ended up mentioning that. And also South Temple, the old Brigham Street. There's the library. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, absolutely. And we just told her, head east. Head east, you'll run into it. And so, you know, it was fun. It was fun to see all the different personalities and people. Some wanted to head to the mountains. Some wanted to know, you know, how far was Yellowstone Park from here? You know, things like that. Or going down south to Moab or Zions or Bryce. I think there were some people that were headed that direction as well. So just really fun to see. There was one lady I talked to, she drove out from Georgia. They did a road trip out from Georgia and took like a northern swing out, and they were going to take a southern swing back. She was going to be gone from work for 4 weeks. I'm like, wow. Just for Forum. She's like, well, it's an excuse to get out and see new places. So just a lot of fun. So we had our various plenary sessions. Is Vicki here?
No, she's not.
She's not. I was going to ask her how she felt being from Davis School District. She got chosen to be included in this presentation. So this guy's a magician, and he has a website on
how to do magic. And he did a few different magic tricks on the stage for us, and Vicky got pulled into one of them. And involved, I think she had to come up with a word and, yeah, in a book. She picked a random word from the book.
She said it was truly a random word. It was just, I thought maybe there was that word was the only word on a page or something. She said, it was just truly a random word.
She just picked a random word out of a book and he figured out what it was. It was great. A lot of fun. So the things I took away from his presentation are you are the direct reflection of the top 5 people you spend the most time with. I would have to say the people I spend the most time with are people like you. It's people in my office that I usually end up spending the most time with. And so grateful to get to know you guys and to learn from you. And it really does make an effect on us and how we do things and have new perspectives. Another quote from him was, change your environment, change your perspective, and change your life. And that's how we increase in knowledge. It's how we become better. It's how we become leaders. And I would encourage that, this is for everyone. We need, as Polly said earlier, so many in our profession will be retiring soon. And it's really going to take those of us that are left and the new generations coming in to take over and lead. So I thought this was a great presentation. On our first day of conference, I wish Julie was here. I put this picture in for Julie Fisher. So tell her that she missed her picture. She kept running into this lady that is standing in the back of the picture. She kept saying, man, she's everywhere. Every time I turn around, there's that lady. This was the K-12 session. So some of you I know were in this particular session. So we were able to meet with our counterparts from other agencies across the country and discuss. It was kind of a what's your problem session that we've had here in our chapter meetings. What are the issues that you're dealing with? I would imagine some of the city, county, state types of breakout sessions were yours in similar in nature. Yeah. Okay. And so, great opportunity to go, hey, yeah, we're all having the same issues with this, or I've got an idea for that issue, here's what's worked in our agency. And so it was a good opportunity to hear what's going on throughout the country in our same agencies. In the concurrent sessions, I tried to get most of them in here. I didn't make all of them in here, and there were some that I did not. I wasn't able to attend the entire session because of volunteering various places, which is good too. These are just a few takeaways I had. So I went to a contracting in the cloud session. It's procuring and negotiating for cloud-based technology. I focused most of my breakout sessions regarding IT or construction because those are new areas that I'm starting to deal with in my particular agency. So mine was quite heavily more IT and construction. With technology, it's everywhere and it's constantly changing. We're moving more and more into the cloud-based technologies. I know there's been concerns from our IT department about security issues. Is that cloud really secure? Is our information secure? Is our students' information secure to be out there? And so these are discussions that are being had across the country. And how do we move this direction in the right way? And it also takes a combination of software, your application, and your internal infrastructure. It's a combination. It's what equipment, do you have the right equipment? Do you have the right text? Do you have the right program or software that's going to work for your particular agency? Oh, what did I do? Next one I went to was job order contracting, what works and what doesn't. This is for based more for small construction type of jobs. This is not something we're currently doing in my agency, but I wanted to learn more about it and see if it was something that I could take any information away from and maybe look at, is this something we want to do in the future? Dean, you were in this session, weren't you? Is there anything particular that you pulled out?
we do have a state contract.
Yes, we have a state.
It's available to everyone in this room, and we are not using it. And like you, I'm thinking it might come in handy.
Great, thank you. So, it is, go ahead, Polly.
What I was gonna say about the job order contracting, it is a wonderful contract that's here. We are starting to use it at the U. And because a lot of our vendors just got into it, there's 13 different contracts in the state contract that you can use, and they can use for small projects, for construction. But there is a procedure to go through with it, so you want to make sure you do follow that. It's not just like a state contract where you can call them out, grab it. You have to go through, there's an interim company that does the reach out to them. It does make it quicker, but you still have to reach out to, I can't think of the name of the company, it was Gordian Group. And you have to reach through them, and then they reach out to the contractor, and they just come right over, give you a bid, and you're good to go. So it really, really cuts a lot, especially with small items.
Thank you. Is anyone using job order contracting in their agencies? Joan Davis is?
Davis is. We just started using it on some of our smaller capital outlay projects.
Great.
What dollar amount?
More so that I'm not sure, but I don't think it's more than 500
to 100,000 to
500,000 yeah, for a
Are you guys using it in German? No. So, it was a great session to be in, because I was learning, how does this work? What's the idea behind it? How is it possible that we can bring that and pull it in? And, it does vary a little bit state by state, and you do have to check and see what your laws are for where you're at. And we do have state contracts. So, maybe something to think about in your agencies that might be helpful. They use a construction unit price book, and that's where they, where the pricing comes from. And it turns construction into a type of commodity, which is really thinking, I thought, out of the box. Really different than what construction has been treated in the past. I was able to attend a partial Microsoft tips and tricks for Excel. I wish I was able to go to more of these sessions. I think they would have been really helpful. The lady that was doing these presentations, she did a poll of the room and said, what do you guys want to learn? And that's what we'll focus on. And so the group had decided more on, let's talk about shortcuts, let's talk about pivot tables. I had to leave early from this presentation to be at the table. But I was able to pull out a few things that I didn't know that I can go back to my office and use. I also caught the first half, and oh boy, I wish I had been to the second half of the FBI case study. Did anyone go to that one? It was so fascinating and interesting on what on earth. So there was Miami International Airport, and it was about purchasing the light bulbs for the airport, or the lighting. And it got involved in so many people and so many agencies and so many check cashing places within like how many mile radius, like a 50 or 60 mile radius. They'd hit different ones to cash the checks. And there was a lot of times no product delivered. There were just fake invoices that were generated. And there were multiple people from across different agencies and suppliers involved. And it was incredible. It was a $9 million public contract. And these guys walked away with $5 million in illegal gains. It was incredible. It was over years. The one thing I liked about it was the purchasing department I think this was a county that was over the airport and the airport authority, that their purchasing department got involved with the FBI. And they got to be good friends. And so the FBI would come to the purchasing department and go, hey, we're looking at these documents. Does this look like this is a kosher deal or not? And they look through them and go, no, this is looking funny here. This puts up a red flag here. This doesn't look good. And so it was a collaboration between the FBI and the purchasing department to be able to figure out what all was going on and how expansive this activity was.
few years back, when I first started in Salt Lake City, they have every year, the FBI actually has a training with citizens. And I did that training with them. And they encourage the public to actually call them and go through their classes. It's a 6-week training. And you would be amazed at what you learn. So if anything looks fishy, it probably is fishy.
That is great. I had no idea that they offered anything.
Yes, it's usually around October.
Okay, around October. So for those that couldn't hear, the FBI locally has trainings that they do with the public and encourage the public to attend. It's a 6-week training.
And they don't choose everybody to go. So it's kind of like you have to know about it. Salt Lake City,
So do you apply to be able to be in the training? Is that how it works?
yeah,
Okay.
it was just offered, and I actually applied, and they're like, okay.
Okay.
It's kind of strange.
So you do need to be. Those that couldn't hear, the FBI locally has trainings that they do with the public and encourage the public to attend. It's a 6-week training.
And they don't choose everybody to go. So it's kind of like you have to know about it.
So do you apply to be able to be in the training? Is that how it works? Okay.
It was just offered, and I actually applied, and they're like, okay, very good.
Okay.
It's kind of strange.
So you do need to be. Those that couldn't hear, the FBI locally has trainings that they do with the public and encourage the public to attend. It's a 6-week training. Chameleon contracting, procuring complex technology projects. I've never heard these terms before. Apparently, they're sometimes called Frankensteins or black swans. They are just so either mysterious or they are so complex and huge and big and scary that you sometimes just don't know how to approach them. And one thing that I thought was interesting, they mentioned the RFP process, and that it doesn't allow enough creativity and flexibility for effective IT procurement. And we need to have better flexibility and agility to keep up with the innovations that are out there. And so this may be something that we're looking at in the future. You know, we may need to start doing our bids differently for complex technology projects to be able to have that flexibility and to be able to find out what's available out there for us. And maybe we've even got programs now that we aren't fully using all components of or all of its abilities that maybe would be helpful to us that we just aren't aware of. Another one I went to was procuring Goliath, breaking IT down. They got into cybersecurity, shared services, cloud computing. Those are kind of the buzzwords, things that are going on right now that are really important to your information officers, your IT departments. And it takes multiple components, application development, payment processing, and operations and maintenance to wrap up everything that you need for your organization within these IT procurements. I also attended the construction manager general contractor session. This is something we are just barely trying out in our school district. We are getting ready to rebuild an elementary school, and we are using this process for this particular elementary. We're trying to see if it will save us some money and be helpful. Basically what you do is you get the contractor involved early. You hire your contractor and your architects around the same time and have them work together so that as your architects are coming up with the designs for your building, a contractor can look at that design information and go, hey, I can see here where your HVAC is going to be a problem, or I can see this, or I can see that. And they can catch those issues early, fix them in the design process so you're not fixing them during the build process. And it will, hopefully, the intent is to save you time and money on your construction projects. So this is actually something we're just trying out in our school district, and I'm excited to see how it turns out and if it is saving us some money to do it this way. The Products Expo, who was able to go? Good. Anybody have a favorite booth? HD Supply, and why? The light up flag. Right, so they had this key thing, you picked a key, if it opened the box, oh, well, thank you. And they made a donation on your behalf. Was it to Operation Gratitude? Or was it something
It
else?
was Operation Gratitude.
It was Operation Gratitude, wasn't it? Okay. So our community service project that we were working on, and they had a little flag that lit up, and so that was fun. Any others? Did anyone go to a booth where they got something or met somebody or learned something new that they could take back to their office? Susan, they're shaking her
I
head.
can't remember the guy's name, I'm trying to think of it, but it was in construction, and I don't do construction. But he had several things that we could take, those wine things that the kids are having such a, yeah, the twirlers, whatever they're calling. Anyway, he had that, and he said, here, take this, take as many as you want, I'm leaving in 10 minutes. And I stopped at AT&T, and the gal there, she says, if you're looking for a new phone, go to eBay, because most of us, we're on the Apple 7 right now. Apple 6, they flush them all out, clean them out, and sell them for $100 on eBay.
Wow.
It's an $800 phone, and you're getting it for $100.
Wow, definitely something to learn. Yeah, you can save your procurement dollars. I was, Jason followed me to one booth. I went to talk to someone that deals mostly with school supplies and things like that. And he's like, I have $100 gift card for you. I said, that's nice, I can't take it. And he's looking at me and he's like, well, it's $100 off your next order. I said, well, if you call it a coupon and not a gift card, I could take it. And he's like, okay, we'll call it a coupon. We haven't used it yet, but he, here he was trying to be nice and trying to be helpful, and we do get caught up in these things. And so it was fun to be able to go around and visit with some of the vendors we deal with and get to meet some new ones as well. Yes, Joan?
Laura and I spend a lot of time going to the e-procurement, the bidding places, so we're gonna have a couple of demonstrations just to go through that out there for e-procurement.
Great, so you're able to meet the vendors and so you can get that lined up. That's wonderful. So our bus tours, thank you, Gail. Oh my goodness, all the work. It was so fun. Who was able to participate with the bus tours? Great, it was so fun. I got to go on Salt Lake City tour on Sunday night. People were so appreciative. They're like, thank you so much for putting this opportunity together for us. We were wondering how we could see the city while we were here, and this just works out perfect for us. Yes, Joan.
The people that were on my bus were from everywhere. And I had some older ladies that didn't feel like they wanted to get out and walk to the Beehive House, the Capitol, and this is the place. So there was a group of about 5 of them that sat there and stayed in the bus. So during that time, we had some really good conversations. And like someone mentioned earlier, one of their comments was, are all Utahns polygamous? And I said, well, once upon a time, probably yes, but not now. And we really don't have horns unless you piss us off, then they pop out. And they laughed and laughed and laughed. But, just talking with those people that stayed, you got to talk a little bit about everything. So the bus tours were well worth it.
Oh, for sure, definitely. Yes, Paul.
Yes, with what you guys said earlier, with the bus tours, I think I learned a lot about Utah because I tried to prepare because for us in Park City, we didn't have the wonderful tour guides that Salt Lake City had. And I wish I could have gone on those just because I wanted to hear. There was one tour guide that told us about the architecture in Salt Lake City, and she just had amazing information that we would never know. She knew who built this building, who did this, who went to the University of Utah, who went to BYU. It was just all the history. And then because I was prepared for Park City, I was Googling a lot of stuff. And so we found some of the coolest facts of Park City that I never knew, and I've been here 25 years. And it was just a lot of fun to, we kind of forget what's here. And that's kind of the point that I wanted to make is a lot of times we get in our offices and we forget what's there. We forget our people that are there that have special skills because we're so busy and so focused on our jobs that we don't get to network with our own people in our own office. Because if you go to each one of your people and really have a discussion about certain things, you're gonna find the wonderful skills that they have that they can share with you. And that was the biggest takeaway for me. I'm that kind of person that kind of one object moves it to another. Where can I use this? And that was the biggest part again of the forum of, we learned all these things and then it made me think, wow, I didn't know much about Utah, really, and I thought I did. But then how much do I really know about the people that I work with? What skills, what things can they help me with, working together as a team. And it was awesome.
Thank you. Yes, Randy.
I was just going to, Gail, how many people, do you remember the count of how many people rode buses? It was 500 or something, right?
Yeah, it's not that many people, because they summed up about 500 trips.
So we had over 500 people on the bus tours.
Wow. No,
combined.
so we had quite a few people do the Park City and the Salt Lake.
Oh, yes, we did have duplicates that did both tours. Yeah. So incredible, and they just seem to enjoy it so much. So thank you to all of those that participated with those bus tours. Here were a couple of stops that we had on the Salt Lake City tour. As was mentioned, the Capitol building. This is the place, Heritage Park. They also stopped at the Beehive House. Depending on what group you were in, I got through the first group from my bus, and so we walked them around the gardens back behind a little bit, and they just were so thrilled at how beautiful it was and how manicured everything was, and really enjoyed our city center. And this was a picture from the bus I was on for the Salt Lake City tour. There's our Park City tour people, and I heard it was a lot of fun. So great opportunity. Yes, Gail.
One example of how awesome people are in Utah, we couldn't go on these tours earlier because we have sessions to deal with. It was kind of not cool to interrupt a session to go on tour. But on Sunday night, the Capitol usually closes at 6 o'clock. And there's one lady, well, just to give a little background, we started out with one bus company. We were only going to have about 140 people with that opportunity. We had to change. We got another company that enabled us to have a lot more people ride. So we switched to another bus company and made a lot more money subsequently. But in the process, we had to get guides. The first company had just a recorded narrative, and then we had to hire live people to go on the buses. And one lady really picked up all the slack, and she organized the other guides and organized the itinerary. And she said, the Capitol's only open until 6, but if you email this lady, she'll stay open for you. So I emailed her and just gave her this impassioned plea, please, we need to have the Capitol in this tour. And she wrote back and said, okay, we'll keep it open until 7 o'clock for you. Who does that? The state Capitol, they kept it open for us, so it enabled people to go and see the architecture of the Capitol.
Absolutely, I was able to be a part of that benefit on Sunday, so it was wonderful.
And Park City did the same thing. There were little places that usually don't stay open late, they stayed open late knowing we were coming.
Fantastic. People in Utah are fabulous. Operation Gratitude, our community service. Who had a chance to go help with that a little bit? It was great. We were packing little care kits, your shaving and toothbrush and toothpaste and things like that. These are to benefit first responders in our military. And boy, do we have, with all the hurricanes and fires and things, how many first responders do we have out there trying to help those communities? So a lot was done. How did we pack up every piece of material we had?
We did, and that took home what hadn't been packed up, and I think when I got home, I only had, I think it was 25 plastic bags that we hadn't used yet. And there was enough shaving cream, but nothing else for those bags. So I actually went and bought the stuff, and my grandkids helped me. We finished them off, and I mailed them to Operation Gratitude. But I think the coolest part in this too, in addition to packing, was that we wrote thank you letters. And they were, the only thing for the thank you letters was just to leave religion out of it, and I can't remember what the other thing, politics. Yeah, you were talking about politics and religion. But that was even cool. You didn't know for sure who you were writing to, but you just wrote a thank you note. Because they're serving the community. They're helping keep America free for us. And so I thought that each of these care packets will have a thank you letter in it.
That's great, yeah. I did a little bit of both. I packed up some of the bags and also wrote a few letters. And, dear hero, dear first responder, thank you for your service. It was a great opportunity. I'm so glad that we included that.
Nancy was with, they did the,
Bracelets.
the paracord bracelets.
Oh, the bracelets, the paracord bracelets. Were you involved with that, Nancy? No? Okay. Anyone do bracelets?
No, I didn't.
You didn't? Okay.
Too complicated.
Too complicated. Too complicated. Oh, okay. Don Buslam was the one that was training on the bracelets from National. Fabulous. So what a great opportunity. So glad we had an opportunity to do this during our forum. And then I wish Lori were here. Please thank Lori for us, Joan. She put together a fantastic social event for Leonardo. Who here was able to go? Fun. What was your favorite part? Randy?
Mine was standing at the door prior to 6:30 and looking at the lines. I was actually having a panic attack. It was like, oh my gosh, it didn't stop. Kurt was there and it went in, but people just kept.
Yeah, I was just inside the doors volunteering, and it was just masses of people, and it never stopped for a good hour.
It was crazy, yeah.
The band, Jason threw out the band. Party Crashers, is that right? Oh, wow, I wasn't able to stay the whole time, but I did go up for a little while. Oh, they were good. It just looked like such a fun time. And the people I talked to, there's our green Jello that we're famous for. The Jello shot that's not a Jello shot. But we had to get our green Jello in there. People seem to really enjoy it. I know downstairs they had a couple of flight simulators. I don't think those things stopped all night long. There was a line for people to get into those flight simulators. A lot of people upstairs with the band too. Looked like it was just so much fun. There's our Davis people.
With the green screen.
With the green screen. They had a green screen so it would vary the background shots and you'd stand in front of it and get a picture of it. And then just some of the other exhibits there at the Leonardo. Yes.
One thing, everybody that had their picture taken that night it was like a totally different side of them, I think, because they were so happy and laughing at every picture that was taken, that they really had fun with that green screen.
They had green garbins that you can drape over their shoulders so you don't see their head or parts of their body, or they throw it over their head so you can only see their arms. I mean, they were just being
Yes, Randy.
Joan stayed there at the green screen for hours, taking pictures, taking their cell phones and taking pictures. If we wouldn't have, thank you so much, because if somebody wouldn't have, yeah, I'm sure they had so much. They stayed there for hours. So.
I think, yeah, Joan, you were there forever taking pictures. Every time I went by there, you were there taking pictures. How fun. We want to wish our congratulations to our CPPB and CPPO recipients. They were recognized at the forum. Anyone here?
Nancy and Alicia.
Oh, Nancy and Alicia. And Vicky is in there.
They're all right.
Yeah, they're all right in the middle. Yay! Our keynote speakers, some of our others. Everybody I've talked to has felt the same about these guys. I did my best to come up with some bullet points.
We're laughing because they were a challenge.
It was a challenge. It was a challenging keynote speaking address. They are not from the procurement profession, but have studied the procurement profession and write white papers and do trainings and things on the procurement profession. And most of the presentation was trying to find out from us where is the profession going, and so that they could increase in their knowledge for their future presentations. The big takeaway that we had is no one understands what we do. Trying to explain procurement to somebody that doesn't do procurement, well, I do bidding, well, what does that mean? Kind of thing. So that was Barrett and Green. Eileen McDar, oh my goodness, I really appreciated, this was an amazing presentation, really appreciated it. Cultivating radical resiliency. I've got several bullet points here. She talked about red ants. Does anybody still refer to red ants negativity now that you're home? Red ants are all those little negative things that just run around and bug you and drive you crazy. Resiliency is energy management, and energy is the ability to do work. Looking for viewing points instead of a viewpoint. Just taking things from another perspective and being resilient. She talked about our little Davids, your David versus Goliath, and David, the little Davids win frequently. We need to listen to our younger generation. They have fabulous ideas and things that we could use in our offices and things we can change. Don't ignore the content because of the container. The content is great. And don't take anyone for granted, old or young, or anywhere in the middle. We all have something to offer to our profession. Phil Hansen embraced the shade. Who was able to attend his session? Well, he had these videos about, he's an artist, and he uses various mediums to do his art. He had done a piece of art that he had a video on. It took him hours and hours to put this together. And we all had these cards on our tables. And we could tell that they had, charcoal or something on them, but they were cut into like the size of an index card. We're all wondering what they are. We all got a piece of these cards. Come to find out, it was part of this huge art project that he had done that took him forever to do. And it was about deconstruction and destroying. And even that is art, and thinking outside of the box and using your limitations to make you stronger, to make you think differently, to make you think outside of the box and try to approach your problems differently and to make them strengths. So this artist, he used to do really fine point drawing. That's what he was focusing on his art. He developed a tremor in his drawing hand so that he couldn't draw a straight line anymore at all. And he had to figure out, how can I still be an artist and still produce art and be creative and do what I want to do? This is my life's work, my life's mission. How can I do it with this limitation? And he was incredible. He's got so many videos. I think he's probably out on YouTube as well.
It's fillinthecircle.com.
Fillinthecircle.com.
I got it and downloaded it. It's amazing.
Just a wonderful presentation, and to don't let your limitations stop you. Just incredible. The extreme networking, this is the final day, the morning session. Anyone else be able to participate in this? Great. Opportunity, you pick your topic, you go sit at a table, you are sitting there with other people from the forum across the country, and you talk about whatever the topic is that there was a facilitator at the table. But you would just rotate around every 10 minutes or so and get to meet new people and gain ideas on whatever the topic was that you could decide to join. Randy, thank you so much. And this has been a long time. How many years have you been involved in? Two. 2 years of work putting this forum together. And I'm so grateful that they were able to recognize you and recognize the chapter for all the work that you and our other chapter leaders have done to put this forum together. Thank you all for a wonderful forum. It took all of us. It took every pair of hands to make this work and to make it go smoothly, and for the attendees to enjoy it. And I need to throw my photo credits. I did not take all of these pictures. Gail, Skip, Randy, all helped me out with these pictures, so thank you very much. And I hope you all felt that you had a good experience at Forum. I know I did. I'm grateful because I know this is something I'm not going to be able to do every year and be able to travel to. But having it here, it made it possible and able to participate and attend, and what a great experience. So thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it.
Okay, they're cutting up cake for us. Oops, sorry. Thank you, Tanya. That was awesome. I hope you guys got to see a little bit about what quorum is and some of the concurrent sessions, things like that, things that you can learn that we can bring back. And those are the things that I wanted to put into your minds today is some of these things that came across. We're looking, again, to the changes of procurement in the future. So we need to start thinking of some of these things, and these will help us in our training so that we can help you. Again, going forward, their main theme was, looking outside the box and perspective and what you look at each day. So maybe, a task for you would be to go back to your office today and try to look at your perspective from a different angle. Look at it from somebody else's eyes. Maybe talk to one of your people and see, what skills they have and what they do best. You may not even know that they're there until someone gets tapped into it. Because a lot of times we get thrown tasks and we do them, but there's something other of a strength that we have and we don't get to show that a lot until, we go to other venues or go to training. So, we want to have that be part of it. Plus with the future, from this generation to the next generation, the communication, how we do work, how procurement people did work in the past versus work in the future, as we talk about the millennials and their great ideas. They know how to move and shake, and so it could be, quality of their work doesn't mean time, where in the past it was the more time, guaranteed your quality. Whereas when you have people who are, looking to work smarter instead of harder, which we all want to do, we need to look at that for the future. So if you guys keep your minds open for that. We're going to take a break here and get some cake. We're going to come back, and we may end early today, just because we want to make sure that we get all of our information in. This was more of a business and sharing meeting, and I wanted to make sure that, we all celebrated and said thank you. There's still coffee and hot water or tea or cocoa. Restrooms are to your left if you need those. You're welcome to step outside if you need to step outside, take your call or make a call. We still have soda, we still have chips and fruit.